Okay, last one. Hi, I'm Jason. Welcome to my workshop. I recently sold my old workbench. I had it for about 12 years and built lots of nice stuff with it. And it was great for power tool woodworking and really awful for hand tool woodworking, which I've been getting into more and more, and it's a lot of fun. So I needed the money from the old workbench to buy the materials and the hardware to build the new Roubeau style workbench that I'm planning to build. And it's a lot easier to build a workbench if you have a workbench. So now I need to build a temporary one, and that's what all this stuff's for. So I went on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist and scrounged around in my scrap pile to find this stuff. So the most important part of it is this solid core door. It weighs over 100 pounds. It's dead, flat, and straight, and just the right size for a workbench top. And I need to put that on some legs, so I'm going to build a couple of Sawhorses, and I've got some 1x6 pine, some 2x6 lumber, and some scrap plywood, and I'm going to build those now. The first thing I'll do is cut this 2x6 into a couple of 30-inch pieces. I've made a few of these Sawhorses over the years, and the reason I keep going back to this style is because it's so simple. The only number you have to remember is 15. So right now I have to make a 15-degree bevel on the edge of each of the tops. So I need to make one here and one here. So now I'll just adjust my table saw blade and make the cuts. So I've gone ahead and cut all of my legs to rough length, and they're going to be attaching to these 15-degree bevels on the 2x6. And what I need to do now, I want the tops to be flat all the way across. To do that, I'll cut some 15-degree bevels on the ends of each of the legs, and I'll do that at the miter saw. Okay, so now I can just line this up so the leg is attached to the top, and I'm going to mark and pre-drill for some screws right here. And I'm going to do that before I cut these legs to final length. You'll see why in just a minute. So with the leg attached to the top, I can measure my height, which is going to be 38 inches. And that's a little bit hard to do when the legs are splayed, and I need to get a plumb measurement as best I can. And this can be rough. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball 38 inches, which appears to be right about there. Make my cuts on the miter saw. So I nearly got all the legs attached, and I realized I made a pretty big mistake. I need to keep the legs 3/4 of an inch away from the ends of the tops. The reason for that is I'm going to be putting a plywood gusset right here that'll help reinforce the connection between the legs and the top. So I've got to pull the legs off. Hopefully the glue's not totally dry yet, and I'll reattach those and we can move on. And now I'm ripping those plywood gussets I talked about. I'm going to make those 10 inches wide. Okay, so remember earlier I said the number to remember was 15. So we made 15-degree bevels on the top and the legs, and now I'm going to make 15-degree bevels on these plywood gussets. So I'm going to set my saw to 15 right there, lock it down, and make my cut. So I'm going to put 2 gussets on each pair of legs because I like to overbuild everything. And these should hold several hundred pounds, no problem. So I will put a gusset here, and I'll put a gusset right there. And I'll have 4 gussets on each of the Sawhorses. So I'm using some waterproof glue. And really, it's just because it's what I have in the shop. I've used water-resistant glue before, and it really doesn't make a difference. I've left these things sitting out in the weather, the rain and snow, for years, and I've never had one of these come apart on me. So use whatever you've got. And here's one of my favorite things about these Sawhorses. They stack and they don't take up a whole lot of room. So whenever I need a temporary workbench, I'll just set up the Sawhorses, grab this door, throw it on top. I've got a workbench and I can work pretty much wherever I want to. Hope you enjoyed this video. I don't have plans for these, just remember the number 15 and you should be able to knock these out in a few hours all by yourself. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and we'll see you soon.